The snow fell quietly outside our small suburban house, wrapping the neighborhood in a soft, glistening white blanket. It was Christmas Eve, and every window down the street glowed with the warmth of fairy lights, candles, and laughter spilling out from families gathered together. Inside our own house, the trees sparkled with ornaments collected over the years, each one telling a story. There was the little glass angel my mom had bought when she was still alive, the handmade paper star my younger brother had cut out in kindergarten, and the glitter-covered ornament I had made when I was 12. But this Christmas felt different. For the first time in years, my heart wasn't heavy with the usual sadness that had always seemed to find me around the holidays. This Christmas, something was about to change, though I didn't know it yet. My name is Emily Johnson. I was 28 years old that winter, working as a teacher in a small elementary school just outside of Chicago. I had always loved Christmas when I was younger. It had meant family, music, and love. But after my mom passed away when I was 18, Christmas had become bittersweet. My dad tried his best to hold the traditions together, and my younger brother, David, clung to the rituals, but there was always an empty chair at the table that seemed to whisper of what we had lost. This year, though, my brother had insisted that things would be different. He was 24 now, studying business at a nearby college, and he had that youthful determination that made it impossible to say no to him. "Emily," he had said a week before, "we're not going to mope around this Christmas. We're going to laugh. We're going to play games. We're going to make Mom proud." And I had agreed, though a part of me doubted if it was possible. On Christmas Eve, Dad, David, and I cooked dinner together. The house smelled like roasted turkey, cinnamon rolls, and apple pie. After dinner, we opened one present each, a tradition Mom had started. Mine was a newel scarf from Dad, warm and soft in my hands. David got a pair of gloves, and Dad received a book he had been wanting to read. Later, we gathered in the living room with cups of hot cocoa, the fireplace crackling. The sound of Bing Crosby filled the air, and for the first time in years, I felt a bubble of joy push against the sadness. That's when David nudged me. It was such a small gesture, but it caught me off guard. I was staring at the lights on the tree, lost in thought, when I felt his elbow pressed gently into my side. I turned to look at him. "You okay?" he asked, his eyes soft, the flames from the fireplace reflecting in them. I nodded, though I didn't say anything. He said quietly, so Dad wouldn't overhear, "I know you miss Mom. I miss her too. But look at us, we're still here. We're still a family. And I need you to smile tonight, just once, like you used to when we were kids." Something about the way he said it, so simple, so honest, broke the wall I had been holding up for so long. I smiled. Not a forced smile, but a real one, wide and unguarded. And David grinned back like he had just won the greatest victory. That small nudge, that quiet moment of connection, changed something deep inside me. For years, I had carried grief like a heavy coat I couldn't take off. But in that instant, with his elbow pressing into my side and his eyes shining with love, I realized I didn't have to carry it alone. The rest of the night flowed like magic. We played board games. David cheated shamelessly and Dad pretended not to notice. We shared stories about Mom, laughing at her quirks instead of crying over her absence. And at midnight, as snowflakes drifted past the window, we stood together in the living room, holding hands, feeling like a complete family again, even though one chair would always remain empty. But that Christmas night was more than just a sweet memory. It became the turning point in my life. In the weeks that followed, I found myself lighter. At school, I laughed with my students more easily. I joined colleagues for coffee after work instead of going straight home. I started writing in my journal again, something I hadn't done since Mom's passing. And each night, when I wrapped Dad's scarf around my neck, I thought about the warmth of that moment when David had nudged me. Months later, David told me that he was planning to propose to his girlfriend, Sarah. He asked me to help him pick the ring, and as we stood in the jewelry store together, I realized how far we had come. We weren't just siblings anymore. We were teammates in this life, lifting each other up when things got hard. The following Christmas, our house was fuller than ever. Sarah joined us, bringing along her laughter and warmth. And when David and Sarah announced their engagement that night, I felt a surge of pride. We were building new traditions, new joy. 1 year later, as I stood beside Sarah at their wedding, I thought back to that Christmas Eve when everything had changed. All it took was one nudge, one small reminder that I wasn't alone for my world to shift. Now, years later, I share this story because I want people to know that sometimes healing doesn't come in big, dramatic moments. Sometimes it comes in the smallest gestures, a word, a smile, a nudge on Christmas night. It taught me that love isn't about grand declarations. It's about being there in the quiet moments, reminding someone they're not alone. And that, more than anything, is the greatest gift you can give.